On Easter Sunday morning, April 1st, 1945, I got up early and walked out on the deck of the USS Freestone. It was dark and deathly still, except for a quiet humming sound. As dawn broke, I could begin to make out the silhouettes of hundreds and hundreds of ships against the gray skyline. And suddenly their guns began firing. The invasion of Okinawa, the final and bloodiest battle of World War II, had begun. I was 19 years old, and like so many other young men during World War II, I was a long way from home. I was born on October 10th, 1925, the first child of Billy and Kate Radonich. I grew up on a fruit orchard in the Los Gatos foothills in Northern California. I enjoyed playing sports at Los Gatos High School. After graduation in 1943, I attended Pacific School of Radio and studied news writing and broadcasting, and worked as an intern at radio station KYA in San Francisco. From there, I was drafted into the Army. 4 months later, I was headed for the Philippines, where the battle for Leyte was already in progress. I joined Company C of the 184th Infantry Regiment and spent the next months carrying a Browning automatic rifle through the jungle. My outfit, the 7th Infantry Division, had already seen its fair share of combat, having taken the Aleutians, Kwajalein, and Leyte. We thought we were heading back to Hawaii when ordered to load our gear aboard ships. Instead, we were on our way to Okinawa to attack the Japanese homeland, where casualties were expected to be as high as 30%. To our surprise, we landed without a shot being fired. But on the second day, we met heavy resistance. On Pinnacle Rock, April 6th, I was wounded in the legs and evacuated to the 69th Field Hospital. 12 days later, back on the front lines, it soon became clear that all the shelling and bombing by our ships and planes had little effect on the entrenched Japanese positions. It was left to the infantrymen to dig the enemy out with flamethrowers, phosphorus grenades, and satchel charges. It was difficult, costly work. For 82 days, we hunted the enemy in the rain and mud, the scorching sun, living in holes like animals, surrounded to the sight of countless dead bodies, hearing the constant sounds of exploding shells, machine gun and rifle fire, and the almost silent cries for help. War degrades the human spirit and causes you to do things so contrary to human values that it cannot be imagined. When the fighting finally stopped on June 22nd, C Company had suffered more than 100% casualties. 42 of my comrades made the ultimate sacrifice. We were still on Okinawa when we heard that atomic bombs had been dropped on Japan, only a few hundred miles away. We were overwhelmed with joy bordering on insanity when we heard the Japanese had surrendered. Every gun on ship and shore shot tracers into the sky like huge geysers of fire. Early in September, in Korea, we accepted the Japanese Army surrender. I returned home and was discharged on April 10, 1946. A week later, I met Janet Wickland at an ice cream fountain that we frequented before the war. We were married and together raised 3 children. I pursued a career in broadcasting, and we all enjoyed our antique car hobby. And a few years ago, Janet and I made a pact to live forever, and so far, we're right on schedule. The men I served with were really just boys like me, frightened to death most of the time, doing their jobs the best they knew how. They were honest, dependable, loyal men true heroes who received little or no recognition for what they lived through fighting for their country. We must never forget these ordinary men who accomplished extraordinary deeds for the benefit of all mankind. I dedicate this story to them. Those who survived went on to return all of the conquered lands. They fed the hungry of the world and rebuilt the devastated cities. I am extremely proud of this generation.
When I am down and oh my soul so weary, when troubles come and my heart burdened be, then I am still and wait here in the silence until you come and sit a while with me. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong